called Lorcan. Lorcan. Oh, you okay?
Cut.
That's fine.
I said cut.
Not cunt. We can swear. This is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
What I usually do is I put that there is no swearing in the podcast, and then YouTube just doesn't care. So it just says to me that even YouTube isn't watching this podcast.
There's no swearing.
No, there's no swearing. Okay, now technically this is 31.
Yes, it was originally 30, but then dates and stuff.
Yeah, I fucked up really
screwed.
bad. I thought it was going to be. It was last month or 2 weeks ago or something like that.
I don't know. It's meant to be a while ago.
Either way, I fucked up. Okay, so welcome to the Law Origin podcast. This is Law Origin podcast number 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to write that on the thing so that we remember. Both me and Daniel are wearing sunglasses indoors on a sunny day.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
We are joined today by Mark Buckle. Who's Mark Buckle, I hear you ask? Known professionally in the drifting universe as Sweeps.
Hi.
Hi, Sweeps.
Hi, Sweeps.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Alex.
Sweeps is a lot of things to a lot of people. All positive. Not he's not a cunt to a lot of people, but he's like, I don't want to say a dad because that's kind of not patronising.
I am. I'm a dad. I'm a husband.
No, I know, but
yeah.
If I refer to you as a dad, so
I would be insulted, son.
Yeah. All right.
Sweeps.
All right, Dad.
Sweeps and his imaginary arc, and that's how. Because he's been around for that long,
Come on.
drifting.
When I refer to how long you've had cars, and it's like, oh well, it was 1980.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Telly's
so
only had 4 channels.
If
back
I
then.
said I'd passed my driving test in 86.
86. I was 1.
There you go.
I wasn't born.
Well, welcome to the Law Origin podcast, son.
So okay, I'm going to call you. Now I'm not going to call you Dad because of that. But I will say that me getting involved in drifting in I'm going to say professional capacity was almost entirely in part because of you and my now wife, who were trying to find a way of me legitimising what I was doing. I'm not going to say on the street because nobody does any drifting on the street because that's illegal, boys and girls. But legitimise what I was doing in other places by doing it in a more
controlled manner.
safer way.
Yeah, I was going to say nothing we do is controlled.
No.
So it's safer.
Safer, more legal way.
Yep.
And back in 2000 and I'm going to say 11, 10, 11, the conversation between Gabby and yourself were had about potentially me doing a licensing day for the BDC because I'm not going to say I'd ran out of places to drift, but
without getting caught.
Yeah, maybe that's
Or
it.
lose your license.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe if that hadn't have happened, who knows what would have happened? Maybe terrible things would have happened. But either way, I went down the route of doing the BDC licensing day. Did quite a few of them because I was shit. I was
I'll be honest. We did licensing days for so many years.
I miss them. I don't care what anyone says. I quite like the idea of a licensing day.
Well, I'll be honest. There's one licensing day for me that sticks out in my mind, and that was there was 2 reasons for it, and that was at Teesside on the West Track, and there was a young driver from Scotland came down called Willie Rose.
Oh yeah.
In a
Compact.
red
surely,
compact
yeah.
with an M3 in it.
Yeah.
And he didn't speak much. He wasn't very sociable.
No.
I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. But when he drove, fuck me,
Yeah.
what a driver. He was literally inch perfect on every single clipping point.
Yeah,
that he
real
put
like
out.
straight out of the box, a precision driver.
and
Really
we were
impressive.
Pro license, the end.
Yeah.
And that one's the other reason that one sticks out. I don't know if it might not have been that licensing day, but I had a Nissan Primera at the time, and there's this one specific licensing day, and it was raining, and I parked my Primera at the top of the hill. And when I reversed down off the hill, I thought, I'm going to be a hero here and look like a god. And
In a Primera.
and I dropped the clutch. And what happened? No, drive shaft went ding.
Ooh, How very Nissan of you.
And it just so happened I had a radio in my car. And can I have a recovery truck, please? And everyone's like, well, everyone's back in the pits. Yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
and
not
I've just
there yet.
I've just fucked a drive.
I'm
on
doing
my
silly
Primera.
things.
And I ended up coming home on the back of an AA van.
Wow. How
From
very
licensing
licensing
day.
day
It was
of you.
yeah. Well, back in the day when you drove. If I remember rightly, you drove to the
I always drove.
Yeah, you
I drove to every event until
Up
about
until-
2014.
And-
No,
and-
longer than that.
And
Well-
Joe Anchors.
Yeah, no, what I was about to say is after 2013, where we drove to all the events, Howell, he just turned up with a trailer. I was like, I've never been on a trailer before. I don't really know how this works. And I drove the car on the trailer, drove to the event, kicked the car's head in, did really well and enjoyed myself. And then put it back on the trailer and took it home. And I was like, this is way more fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I love driving the cars to the track, no trailer queens, but like I drove so much better when I drove the car on a trailer.
You've
That was
got
terrible.
Yeah, you've got that confidence of knowing that you're going to get home
Yeah,
regardless.
some of my worst and most fun memories are of getting like one drive shaft. So 2013, one drive shaft. Gabby's driving because I'm exhausted. The windscreen had gone in because the bonnet had flipped, and it was raining. I had no heaters, and I was falling asleep. And Gabby was so angry. And that was back from Scott. That was from Driftland. Screaming the entire way. And like, I don't blame her.
I hate this gear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I battered the car. I think it was the grand opening, and it broke down. Oh no, I know it's all right. The Beavertail truck that I'd borrowed had broken down. Obviously, this is why I never bothered trailer or anything because nothing worked. The Beavertail Beavertail Transit broke down on the Forth Bridge, which is really dangerous. Got recovered onto the Forth Bridge car parky thing, and then we unloaded the car. We packed the car with all the shit, and we drove that home, and it was atrocious. There was a point where, and I've told this story before, but about an hour in, it'd been raining so heavily, and we couldn't see, and Gabby's literally hanging out the window to see, and it's dark at this point. I thought that it, like in the movies, you could kick.
Thelma and Louise.
You could kick. No, I felt like you could kick the windscreen out. It was really smashed. It was smashed to pieces. And I was getting to the point where like we're already piss wet through, and we just need to be able to see, and we can't see because the heaters aren't working, and it's smashed to pieces. And this is a terrible story. And Christ.
Alex and his anger issues.
But I wasn't angry. I was like, it's fine. I've seen this done in the movies.
did it.
So I
You
leaned
did,
back
yeah.
and I pushed the windscreen with my feet quite aggressively. And obviously not a lot happened. It didn't.
Didn't do anything.
No,
Never
it
do.
made a mess, and it made things significantly worse.
Because the screen would be bonded in
Yeah, obviously.
and just go.
Yeah, because it's not a film.
No.
Because I'm a fucking idiot. But anyway, my point to this story was
Go
trailering. Yeah, it does. It made me drive. I don't want to say more aggressively, but probably.
But on the flip side of that, I found my car
Yep.
never broke when I drove it on the road every day.
100%. As soon as you stop driving your car on the road on a regular basis, you'll get to an
Yeah.
event. You get
And
to an
shit
event,
falls off.
and just like the dumbest thing will happen.
Yeah.
Like me turning up to LZ Fest, like prestigious event, invited, everything sorted out for us. We turn up and I've got no fucking handbrake. Handbrake don't work. So then I have to do Mallory Park with no handbrake.
Yeah.
Not Mallory Park. Mallory Park.
Mallory.
Mondello.
Mondello Park.
Oh, Mallory Park.
Oh,
Oh,
Mallory
Mallory
Park. 2011.
Oh, Mallory
Never
Park.
did Mallory.
You never did. No,
Never did Mallory.
I wasn't into drifting when Mallory was a thing.
really?
Went to Orson Fest.
Well, then you did Mallory Park.
I went to Orson Fest.
Oh, you went.
I went and stayed over and got drunk and watched Terry Davis and Andrew Shervington
All right,
in
names.
in Mark II Escort and Toyota Starlet with a XE under the bonnet.
I was going to say, was it the Escort? The Escort had an XC, didn't
No,
it?
that was Cosy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was because he
You're
came for his,
fucking
he
coffee,
came,
mate.
he came for his licensing day at Silverstone in
Yeah.
his 4-door Mark II, and I said, "Can I have a go?" And he said yes, and he said yes, and I was like, "Oh," because I used to race Mark II Escorts. Years,
Way back when.
last century,
Last
and
century.
literally, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Fuck.
drove it better than he did, and then he and then he jumped back in it.
I bet he
and-
was really happy
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
well he was like, "Fuck me, I better drive it like you did." And I went, "Yeah, kind of," and he did, and he got his license.
Oh, nice.
But I remember sitting on the inside of Gerard's with a camera, in the pitch black, thinking this is fucking mental. They are coming down that pit lane, absolutely flat chat.
And you could
fourth gear in a Mat2 and a Starlet. Just boop.
It's the fastest I'd ever been and drifted at the same time. But I remember before I got onto the track for the first time, I'd watched Simmons get T-boned by other chappie.
That was at Anglesey, weren't it?
No,
Simmons. That was
Mallory.
Oh,
and I
Mallory.
watched that happen, and I was like, "Oh, this is my first."
But that
this is
wasn't
my
Awesome
first.
Fest, was it?
Yeah, it was Awesome
Was
Fest.
that Awesome Fest?
Yeah.
I thought it was another.
No, Awesome Fest. Simmons spins out. He's in a teal
It
Sora.
was a Sora, yeah.
And then it was the guy. What's the guy's name? He used to drive an R34. I want to say 4-door. Fuck, it doesn't matter. The point is, it was fast on that corner.
Yeah.
You know, you're in fourth and you're doing some real pace down that. You're trying to figure out the curve because you can't see it. It's pretty much you're just looking at a bit of a road that disappears. It's almost like a motorway slip road to make an analogy that sounds like Streeto. It's almost like a motorway slip road in the way that it just continues to, and it sort of banks around a little bit and sort of tightens into the very end. And I remember seeing that and thinking, right, and now I need to go onto the track and do the exact same thing. It scared the shit out of me. Now I'd just done, back to licensing days, I'd just done the licensing day where I got my pro license at Silverstone on the car park, rest in peace, we'll never go there again, and the...
Well, you can go there, but you
not to the car park.
Yeah, you can go watch MotoGP or
Yeah, you can go to the car park.
But you
and
can't you can't do drifting on the car park.
They might shout at you.
No.
But you can park your car
Yeah.
on the car park.
But the point is, I quite enjoyed that because it was just a patch of ground.
tarmac.
And tarmac, exactly. Specifically, it was tarmac.
Best events are on that.
On a nice
On a
big
patch of...
marked out. Now there was also what was his name? Oh God, Firming with the
Volvo
Volvo.
Dan.
Yeah.
Mr. Firminger.
Had a Volvo. Did a cam. Snapped a cam.
He
there.
did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I remember watching the video back thinking that's one of the few occasions I'd watched my own drifting and gone, it was pissing down with rain. I'd got everything right and the car moved well and it looked quick. I remember thinking, oh, fucking hell, that's the fastest I've ever driven. And it's in the rain.
I could
which
do a
is really
skid.
weird. Yeah. And anyway, the point was licensing days pretty much stopped after 2000. Was it 2012?
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where we had such a large grid in BDC and the level of driving at the licensing days had increased so much that we were giving... It worked out about a third of the grid that turned up for licensing days were granted a BDC license. Now, don't get me wrong, I would say 50% of them did it pure and simply because they could say they got a BDC license, but 50% of them would then write out our book to come to BDC.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think that was when we had 3 classes where we had 120 guys over 2 days, which was, I'm not going to lie, it was too much. It was not only for the drivers because they were getting a lack of seat time, but for us as organisers, myself and Paul McCallum, obviously we can never forget Paul's input to drifting over the years. It got too much, so then when we said, well, why don't we create a feeder series that will not only... the licensing day, they got 3 laps and they had to nail it on all 3 laps basically to get a licence. But it turned out that wasn't enough. Plus, they were having the experience of twinning. They were literally doing a qualifying run, and if they qualified, they'd get to go to BDC. So Drift Cup was born at Lyddon with about, I think we had about, 30, 40 drivers. But they had to battle to get a BDC licence. And I think it was a top 8 at Drift Cup.
But that was a game changer. It was a really, really good idea because it meant that exactly that. My biggest thing for when I did my first BDC event was that I'd gone from pissing around with my mates to, all right, this guy's really fast and really serious and he's chasing the fuck out of me and he wants to beat me. I'd never been in a situation where someone had wanted to do that.
Better than you.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a really weird concept to try and not to just watch, but to be involved in and do. And I do feel like I would have massively appreciated maybe doing something like Drift Cup before I did. But I think a lot of people would have as well.
But
I was in at the deep end.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I don't think people realise, that Drift Cup and the licensing days, it was, for a lot of drivers, it was their start of their competitive career in drifting. And the thing was, we didn't sugarcoat what it was like to be a competitive driver. When they turned up, if they turned up with an absolute piece of shit car, immediately, don't get me wrong, we didn't judge them any different, however their cars were presented, but it was a point of
You should have.
but I would turn around to them in the pits and say, if you're going to come to BDC, you're not bringing that piece of shit.
Yeah.
You need to make that car look
Yeah.
like a drift
You
car.
need to attach.
Hold
you
on,
need,
hold
you
on.
need to, you need to attach your seat.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, I
No,
remember that.
no tech screws.
You remember that?
Well,
No.
I mean, we taught drivers that the ethos of drifting was respect, and
Yeah.
it was from day one. When they come into a briefing, if they're talking, I'll shut up and I'll make them feel silly for talking when I'm talking, because they should be listening.
This is where this whole kids and dad thing started.
But it immediately puts them in the right frame of mind of, Jesus, when I come here, I have to do
Yeah.
X, Y, Z to get to
Because it's serious. You can also fucking kill yourself.
exactly. But yeah,
I can tell you now, Alex did not listen in them briefings.
I mean, I've been sent photographs of people asleep. I mean, Jesus, I've seen a photograph of Junk asleep in there, and
Yeah.
he was judging. You know what I mean?
He was
Bless you,
judging.
But ultimately,
when the judges are.
yeah, but ultimately, the judges were accessible to the drivers. The drivers could
Yeah.
ask advice, and
Yeah.
it wasn't just about their driving as well. It wasn't, you've got to hit that clip, you're out here, you've got to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's all about your back end's too stiff, your back end's too soft.
Oh yeah, that's something I do massively
It's-
appreciate. There was a lot of advice at that level that just disappeared the
Yes.
further down the road we ran, and like I would have never have even had a fucking chance of getting anything like that when I started. If it wasn't for yourself, like getting feedback as on a licensing day, and it goes back to again the same thing. Licensing days were something that I would, but then, as you say, you got to feed a series, and you're able to have that same experience.
But then you also learnt who could take criticism, who couldn't.
Yeah.
You'd have a driver turn up and you'd think, I better be careful on how I word this.
Mm.
Then you get some drivers like yourselves that we knew each other
Yeah.
vaguely in the distance, but I could turn around to you and say, Alex, you were shit.
Yeah.
But the reaction for the majority would go, fucking hell, really? Why? But then when I would explain it and say, right, if you initiate
Yeah.
20
yeah.
yards earlier, or you stop lifting before you initiate, you'll carry the correct speed for that clip. You know,
Yeah,
but that
well,
was
this all sounds obvious now, right? But at that time, there was a huge amount of drivers, even relatively high up drivers, who would make weird mistakes. And I'm not going to blow smoke up your arse. You're not. You're a good driver. But at that point there, being able to stand back and watch a lot of drivers doing the same fuck ups or making mistakes in the same way, and thinking, "There's no reason why you guys need to be doing this."
yeah, but then you could tell them. I
Yeah,
would tell them
you
over
would
the.
have
I
the
would even
ability
tell
to
them
then
over
tell
the
them.
PA
Yeah.
and say, right, guys, the majority of you are doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Try this. And then we'd encourage them to improve
Yeah.
to get to that level. And then when they came to Drift Cup, it was the same again. I would literally walk around the pits. I'd watch some practice and walk around the pits and say, Johnny, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Alex, you're doing that wrong. But they wouldn't just go, yeah, whatever, sweeps. They'd actually think, fuck me.
Yeah.
I'm right. And it's the same with the spotters would come and ask. But then when you get to BDC or when they had spotters or the boyfriends or girlfriends were watching, I remember David Goldstraw. I remember sitting and watching thinking, his girlfriend's watching. And she was literally recording and writing notes down of where he was going wrong and all the rest of it. And I thought, Jesus Christ. And then but it got to the point where you say to you, right, if you've got a spotter, come and tell them to say whoever was judging.
Yeah.
But then they would not pass on that
But
information.
the point of this is that there was nothing previous to that. There was nothing previous to that. In the UK, when it came to sort of making a landscape of what people wanted from judging, making a landscape for what people wanted in competitive drifting, you were basically doing it.
Yeah, but
There was nothing else.
no, but I mean, you've got to also remember that when me and Paul started BDC in 08, March 08, it was a blank piece of paper.
That's my point. Yeah.
And we learned just through experience of how we thought drifting should be, and it proved that we made the right decisions.
And that's the thing, that experience to build on, get to a point where you've got not only a championship that makes sense and works, and people can watch it externally and go, right, okay, I can see what you guys are looking for here. This is brilliant, right? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Now with Drift Cup, now Dan, when did you do a lot of fourths?
2014 maybe.
2014.
Something like that.
Jesus, that's nearly 10 years ago now as well. Isn't it?
Whoa, still
Fuck.
shit. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
I've learned
I'm
nothing.
saying fuck all.
I've learned nothing.
Right, so Drift Cup 2014. How long had Drift Cup been going at the point where you'd started? Was it?
A year, maybe? Maybe that year?
Was it that
It was.
year?
I'm pretty sure it's 2013 we started
'Cause
Drift Cup.
it
But
felt-
we have to give a shout out to Ali Graham, who was a major part of making a decision to run Drift Cup instead
Yeah.
of licensing days.
Yeah.
So
Well,
shout out Ali.
but at the same time,
He deals in chimneys now. He doesn't listen to us
He does
waffle.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not.
he does. He messages me every now and goes, "There's a good podcast." The 4-hour ones he does not listen to.
No, of course he doesn't.
Who does?
Well, apparently 4,500 people listen to the 4-hour podcasts. Whatever you.
If you do it on
nutcases
time, if
are
you do it
doing.
on times 2, it's 2 hours. Trust
Yeah. Times to the podcast.
me.
A lot of people do that.
Your voice
apparently.
goes a bit higher though.
Yeah, I can't listen to a podcast in 2 times. Gabby does. I can't listen to a podcast in 2 times.
You what?
Eh.
That isn't a thing, is it? Surely.
It is, yeah.
Oh, it is.
I'll,
Yeah, it
I'll,
is,
I'll, walk,
genuinely.
I'll walk into the kitchen and I'll hear. I'm like, what the fuck is that? She's like, oh, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm like, you're not listening
She's
to a
not. She's listening to
podcast.
auctioneers.
You're
100%.
listening. You're listening to a fucking data stream from the Matrix. What the fuck are you doing? And it'll just be on the side.
It'll be a cassette. It's a cassette player from
Yeah,
a Spectrum.
yeah. Just flying through. But yeah, it's quite common. If you want to get like a bit like people listen to, but Saul does it. He does it on times 2. He'll listen to a book. Oh, listen to a book. Listen to a book the other day. Like, what do you mean the other day?
You mean the other week?
Yeah, the other week when his car was finished. Where is Saul today? Saul, hi Saul.
I can't comment.
Hi, Saul.
at all.
Saul, well, yeah, where's Dan been for the past?
Yeah,
Saul's,
6 or
Saul's-
9 episodes.
Saul's not here because we've tried to arrange this for a couple of weeks, and we were all set. We had a group chat. We made sure we were all available. I fucked up because I
I've
seemingly
got a meeting.
I literally put it in my diary on the wrong day, like an idiot. Saul, however, he was like, "Yep, I'm good for the 25th." 25th rolls round a week later. Saul's like, "Oh yeah, it's my girlfriend's birthday." How did you not know, Saul?
Priorities.
How did you not know?
Priorities.
She's the mother of your child. Anyway.
We miss you, Sal.
Yeah, we've immediately gone off on a fucking tangent here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Drift Cup.
Drift Cup.
Drift Cup.
Yep.
What is the current status of Drift Cup? Look at your face.
Well, there isn't one.
Is it still
I
a
know.
company?
Is it still a company? Or has it liquidated? Has it been?
Have we liquidated another championship here?
Has it been attacked by tracks?
Drift Cup's not there anymore.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
You know, because it'd be great if it did.
But it's not.
I know, but I'm just saying it'd be really good if it.
Yeah,
just,
if we
just
could have a
did.
championship and not liquidate it,
You
that'd
know,
be pretty
because I'll
cool.
tell you now, there's a lot of championships, and they're run by really good people who know what they're doing. But right now, I can pretty much make if I was to ask ChatGPT to make me the name of a championship, a drift championship, which if you watch the last podcast, you didn't. If you watch the last podcast, we had ChatGPT live write a drift proposal, and it did a sterling job. And at no point did ChatGPT say drifting is the number one most, what was it?
Premier.
No. Growing drift motorsport in the UK. It said nothing like that. It was actually really well written.
It can't be.
But we could have ChatGPT write, give it a couple of different words, thingy words, what they call words,
Like keywords.
keywords, and get it to just write a random championship name. And I'll guarantee you that championship currently exists in the UK. There's a lot of them, and they're I mean,
There isn't anymore, really.
No. But is there not? It seems to me like there's I'm not going to name any of the names because it seems like I'm taking the piss at the moment. But my point is there seems to be a lot of
Yeah,
them
there's
with just the
Drift League,
quickie-
isn't there?
Yep.
There is Drifting Pro in a lunchtime break. There is.
Is the Pro Drift?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in a lunchtime break.
Is there another one?
I don't know.
I'm sure
There's Scotland.
there's
There's a Scotland.
SDC. I'm sure there's more.
Is there?
Yeah.
KD Customs have just done their winter series, haven't they?
Oh
Drift
yeah,
Land.
yeah.
Yep. I'm sure there's more. The point is, it went from went from one, then it went to a couple, who all had decent experience, and then one of them's disappeared, and now there's seemingly loads, and the people who were involved in those individual series have then gone on and done their own, and that's great. But wouldn't it be great if Drift Cup came back?
You know what? I don't agree.
Yeah. Well, you don't
In a
want Drift
way
Cup back.
no, I do. I want what it stood for back. If that makes sense, like I want the environment that
You want
there was
streetcars. You want streetcars at.
I just want like weekend events, if you know what I mean. Like, because at the moment you have to go to Driftland for a weekend event,
Yeah.
and they do weekend events for competitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have a fun, chilled event that's a weekend long?
It's called the Drift Mat Series.
Yeah, but that's once a year. It's once a year.
Yeah. Imagine if you did it more than
Imagine if we
once
had a
year.
spring one again.
Imagine if we had a spring one.
Imagine
or-
a spring one.
Or a summer bash. Or hey.
Imagine a summer bash.
What about Dory Fest? Are we like? Is that swearing here?
No, not
No,
at all.
that's Scotland,
No,
he's
not at all.
okay.
Not at all. No, I've
No, but that's what I mean. Doryfest is Driftland.
It is Driftland. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine a weekend event on the main track at Pembury,
Yeah.
or a weekend event. Like I'm not taking anything away from like Matt Sawyer. Like I say, Matt Sawyer's in October. Or if Anglesey allowed us to do 3 Matt Sawyers a year, that'd be cool. No, they wouldn't ever. But it's not going to happen. But
nope.
I think I need to.
Maybe some phone calls. I mean,
Yeah, they're full.
get on the phone sweeps.
Where's this road going, gents?
I don't.
Where's this conversation going?
We
Apart
don't know
from,
yet.
Have you literally come here and said, Sweeps, for fuck's sake, do more events?
Yeah, well,
Is that what you're saying?
we
Pretty
come
much
here to
that,
corral you and get you to fucking.
All we want you to
make
do is
some
say,
phone
look.
calls. Hey, look, there are 260 go-kart tracks in the UK, of which we'd worked out 110 of them were viable for drifting. There's literally a directory with their numbers in. Just smash through
Just
it.
phone Lynn and just say, look, I want to do a drift competition that isn't a competition. She'll say, all right, no bother. And then we'll say, Sweeps, we'll give you some money. And you'll stress about it for ages and, like, I don't know, have a meltdown. But then it'll be lovely in the end.
It'll be lovely in the end. Yeah.
And we'll all sing around the maypole.
Your face.
I don't think he's interested.
I think the stress of
I'm just
one
sorry,
Matt Sorry.
I'm just sat here listening to
Hey,
what-
look.
I think we're going to cause a brain
just
aneurysm in
hang
a
fire.
minute.
Just hang fire. Before, I'm not going to say COVID, but before COVID,
You just said...
I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. There was a time, you know,
There was a time,
there was
yeah.
a time, 2018, 2019, Rockingham. There was this huge core of people who were
Can we go back to that
ready
conversation?
to just constantly. Oh, Sweeps has got a, an event, got a Rockingham. Everyone's
That
there,
sold
ready,
out within...
ready to fucking
That
go.
was
you know,
ridiculous. Selling out every... Like,
were there.
under
They were
5
there.
minutes every month. Done.
They were
Bam.
there.
See ya.
it was bang, 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 bang.
But then-
easy peasy.
But then I ran Drift Cup with the same, not Drift Cup. I ran Rockingham Drift Days with the same attitude as I did Drift Cup, where
Yep.
if drivers turned up, and I would literally do what I did at Drift Cup, and I'd walk around the pits, and if I saw somebody struggling, I'd say, "Why don't you follow Thingy? Let me go and have a word." with
Exactly,
Thingy,"
yeah,
and
yeah.
let him follow you.
Yeah.
And leave a gap. And then see how you get on, and then you'll find what line he's running, so that then you can do what Alex and Dan and everybody else, Adam and Iville and all the rest of them are doing. Do you know what I mean?
The problem I had with outer paddocks is nothing. Well, it's not even a problem. I had a big problem with it though. What the fuck was that?
No, it's just a wasp.
Oh, okay,
It's a
is
fucking big wasp.
it's massive.
I
Me
mean,
and
continue, Daniel.
Anyway,
the
continue.
outer paddock would change every time. It was a different layout, weren't it? And you were
Yeah,
all
but-
interested in this one. And
yeah.
then me and Alex will say. They'll say, "Oh, do you want a sighting lap?" And me and Alex, "No, we're fine. Don't worry about it."
We
And
go-
we get halfway through the track and just stop in the middle. I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
know where I am. And it's like, "Alex, do you know where you are?" He's like, "No." I was like,
Lost,
"All right,
lost.
We'll go back to the beginning then.
Completely lost. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Consistently lost. That's what we were.
Yeah, so never ever follow.
But we
us.
looked great
in the middle of the track talking.
Yeah, but this is my point. There's this core of people that just came out of nowhere, like
Good people.
good people, great looking
drivers.
good looking drivers, good looking cars.
Oh yeah. Oh,
beautiful
yeah.
drivers.
Yeah,
Uh,
beautiful,
beautiful man.
handsome bastard.
with the right attitude.
Yeah, with that's it. I'm not going to say somewhat humble, but it was great to have people who were
Big old trains.
open-minded and willing to go and have fun and potentially smash up their cars.
Oh,
but
big old train.
but you got to bear in mind there were still PSs knocking around for 3-4 grand
Yeah.
at that point, and a lot's changed since then. And that's just one factor in why that had to stop, or why that stopped. It was one of many factors, but COVID being one of the main ones. But Also, the track itself was
Citrusy,
convenient.
dick cold.
It was
No.
locally. It was in a really good place. It was in a really, really good location. It was central to so many people.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're not interested, and that's
They're not. Well, I think they might be in the future, maybe.
yeah.
Who knows?
Well, there's have been people. I've seen a video of somebody racing a Leaf or something. I didn't really understand it. I feel like there's a PR team there that's not quite gathered what drifting is. I don't know why you would race a drift car against it. It doesn't matter. I suppose if it sells something, I don't know. That's maybe
doesn't
that's all that
matter,
matters.
does it?
It keeps somebody happy somewhere.
Yeah.
But it'd be really cool to just get a big train of dickheads crashing into each other on that bit of track as well. But hey.
Well, yeah.
It is what it is. I'm sure at some point in the future, and it might not be in S bodies, it might not be in cool GDM cars. I know. I don't want to say that 'cause it's just so depressing.
What's that?
It's probably going to be in a load of fucking BMWs. At some point, we're going to go, look at all these E92s. They're all like 20 quid. Let's just. Oh, they got.
M3's inexpensive now.
I know. But this is the thing. What's the one after the E92? It's like there's some other ones that are now frigging cheap as well. Like.
Or you can get the.
I lost at the E92. I just went. I don't care anymore.
Well, they do that one that's
Didn't
got.
even care at the E92, if I'm honest.
What's the one that's got the 335? Like a 335i engine is a twin turbo.
Yeah,
six-cylinder motor.
it sounds very 2J, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like for a good time.
Yeah. Sounds like the sort of thing that you would, go
And
drive at a
if
drift
you-
day.
Yeah.
Fuck was that?
Was that me?
No, I think that was Siri getting involved in the conversation.
Oh,
Um,
she's keen for
but
it.
yeah, that's the only real way at this point because sure.
Or if you put like a pencil through your eardrum and blow your drums out, you could drive a 350Z.
350s are still relatively cheap. I saw one the other day
Yeah,
for
yeah.
£5,000.
And they're fantastic, but they just sound terrible. But they're fantastic cars. I think they are.
That's it. Just sound like a cow dying in a field. They're just. Mate, I've straight piped my 350. Tell somebody fucking cares.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably about it, isn't it? 350s are quite a good all round. It's NA. There's less to get wrong and go hot, but they rust so badly. 350s.
Oh, you're saying that any other Nissan doesn't?
No, I know, but like I was always surprised by Harley's 350. Harley's 350 sat most of its life in a fucking unit, and then we get the ramp, we get the 2-poster and the 4-poster. Like, let's put it on the 2-poster, have a look underneath it. And it was like that scene from Kevin and Perry where Perry puts the fucking camera down his pants and it's just like maggots and shit dying. You're like, holy shit, this thing is completely wrecked. What happened? What have you done? Where have you parked this? It's an orange car, and underneath it was just orange. It was a continuation of orange. It's like, where the fuck has this thing been? It's like, oh, I don't know. It's just been chilling in the unit. Like, what? Is the unit been under the fucking sea at some point? This is fucking bizarre. And apparently, seemingly, a lot of 350s are also suffer the same thing.
They are
Rot.
They're a throwaway car, though.
They are.
the-
For now, they are.
I mean, you'll pay more for an E36 now than you will for a 350.
Yeah. Hey, I was thinking this. The last podcast, I was thinking about this. It was talking about like what kits look good on S bodies and what kits look good on E36s as their comparable cars. Like, you think of an E36 that looks good with a kit. Like, don't get me wrong, there are kits out there that look good, but you know what? An E36 looks best stock.
Just good
like
wheels.
a 328i stock is a really nice looking. What you like?
Well, I want to know what the smirk is, yeah.
It's a really nice. Whereas if you think,
Ladies
hang on.
and gents at home,
Hang on.
I'm sat here on a Low Origin podcast who have the 3 coolest S bodies in the world.
You're not going to let me finish. Let me finish.
And they're talking about BMWs.
I know. Look, what I was going to say is the best an E36 can ever look is a stock. What's that aero called? It's called something aero. The 328i.
Huxley's.
No,
the
stock
stock.
aero. It's called
M Tech or
Tech or something like that.
M Sport.
that'll do.
Looks great. Stick a set of wheels on it. Decent fitment. Lower it. Nice. Good. In order to make an S body look good,
Ka-ching!
you
Ka-ching!
like a stock S body.
To make them drive good, because they drive shit.
I am sorry, but like all stock, whether it's right from the bottom of a PS to a. Don't get me wrong, a PS stock PS looks pretty all right, but like
A stock.
a stock
No, it
S13,
doesn't.
a stock S14,
No, it doesn't.
a stock S15, maybe the
What?
one that Jono's got with they look awful.
Rubbish.
They look awful. Compare them to the E36. a standard
A stock
out
S15.
of the box, a stock S15 with the aero, the good aero that Jono's got. That looks great. But
No.
all of the other, like an S14, a stock S14. If you compare a
No,
stock S14
no,
to a
no.
stock E36,
No, I can't agree with you because a Navan 14 lowered on good wheels.
that's the okay,
Woohoo!
okay, yeah.
It's
So,
your boy.
so if your M-Tech body kit is your Navan, then maybe that's the thing there, isn't it?
It's just your ugly ass car that you don't
yeah,
like.
that's true. My stock S14.
Your Calibra is
just-
terrible.
I thought I could have sworn it was a Mondeo.
Out of the
No, Saul's
mine's-
got a Mondeo. He's
Saul's got the Mondeo. Also, Saul's was a Calibra.
And now he put a Mondeo.
He's put a Mondeo front on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's like putting an S-body front end on a BMW, which we've all seen, haven't we?
And we've seen E36
that
front.
yellow one.
Oh.
You
Have you
see
seen that
yellow
one for sale?
Oh god. And I
No,
love
who in the UK done the
You sent me
E36
that.
front?
There's a white one. There's a white.
Hang on,
and
there's a white one and a yellow one.
There's two
Yeah.
in this.
So
No,
two
no.
people have gone, we can put an S14 front end on this E36
Yeah.
and devalue two
I
cars.
may be
at
really,
once.
really like well off the mark here, but did Mike Gaynor put like a 36 front on a PS maybe? Or
Stop.
did someone
No,
do that in
no,
the UK?
No.
No, I don't think
Are you sure? I'm sure I've seen something disgusting.
I
at
feel
Living
like
Hell
I have
once.
seen. I've seen that, but I feel like I have seen that, but I feel like I've seen that in like the States or something. I don't think that's
I
happened.
don't
in
It's,
the
it's
UK.
been a thing. I don't know where.
But no,
I'm gonna
there's a
find
yellow
out.
one up for sale.
There's a
now,
yellow one
Yeah.
and there's a white one.
but it's
And-
but it's set up for an SR
just
in a BM.
it's like the worst of all
Why?
worlds. It's the worst of all worlds.
Just so it doesn't sound like a BM with a straight through.
Yeah,
so
I guess. Sorry, BMW.
Nakamura's done an interview now and said SRs are poopy.
I
and-
know. I
and
see
V8s
that.
are
I
the
see that.
best,
I was
so-
like, I couldn't be less
Yeah,
interested.
but,
in
he's,
any of
yeah,
that
but he's
shit
been
now.
driving a 350.
yeah, he had been. Yeah, his
I know.
ears were perforated. That's what it is. He didn't know what the question was.
It's that V8 turbo thing. I just don't
Well,
get me
the
wrong.
PS.
I say this all the time, but nothing. If you make nothing free or easy is worth doing or having. I say it far too often, but if you get to the point where you're like, yeah, 1,000 brake, no, 2,000, 5,000 brake. Okay, I need casters on the front. Okay, I need ride height
Do you remember
that's
people used-
above stock suspension. Yeah. Okay, and now I can close my eyes and I can just pin my foot and I can just spin the wheel.
Do you remember when
and
American
win.
dudes just used to do? They put like caster wheels, like or big roller skate wheels on the back corners of the
Yeah,
car. Do you remember
do you
that?
remember
that
that?
phase of
Yeah.
where that wasn't going to work?
God, this was in Formula D. Formula. Yeah.
Formula Dick Hole.
And then, like where the corner of the bumper was, there was that would be the whole back of the car was made out of fucking plastic,
Yes.
and there was like a roller
Roller
skate
skate.
Yeah.
to the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm
throwing
gonna-
your
I'm
car
gonna-
into a wall that's going to stop it is a roller
I'm going
skate.
to run that wall.
Yeah. Well, they put a damper. Do you remember there was it wasn't just that there was
Yeah,
some roller
yeah.
skates. It was that there was a damper attached
There
to an
was. It
arm,
was
so that the
mad.
back of the car would
Mad
move in.
Flex.
thing.
Like a whole set of hinges in the back of the car.
James Dean's doing Formula D again
He is
in a
yeah.
right-hand drive Mustang.
In a right-hand drive Mustang, and I don't doubt that he'll absolutely piss it.
Oh yeah, he's going to piss a lot of people
Well,
off again.
I know. I mean, how many dudes are just going to be like, oh,
My thought when I heard he was going to be driving a Mustang was, we've all seen Chelsea Denofa drive on three wheels.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when James gets that car set up how he wants and it's going, hiya, with that front wheel?
I watched
Hey?
their YouTube video.
Come on.
I watched their YouTube videos. Like, I'm not really comfortable like left-hand drive, and literally within 2 laps, he's just chucking harder than I ever could
Yep.
on a
Yes.
good day.
Yep.
I'm just like,
Yes.
no effort.
you're just taking the piss now.
No
I'm
effort.
really upset with you.
No
You're
effort.
that good.
You see,
That's good.
I was thinking this again after the last podcast. Dean has Dean been to Japan and competed in?
I don't know.
Not as
No.
far as I'm aware.
Right. So you've got Nakamura doing DMEC at some point
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah,
Okay, middle
that's
ground.
wild.
Not as wild as
middle
Cali
ground.
Rove and Pera.
Who?
Cali Rove and Pera. And you two were like, who?
Yeah.
Well, he's
Like-
he's the current WRC world champion and he's doing Drift Masters.
Oh, hang on, no.
Oh, that dude. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
who
Fraser
you're
was
talking
talking about
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't
And
it that
he's about 12.
Is he the guy that he'd never twinned before, and then his first bit of twinning was on some event, and then he didn't the first run didn't get it, second run just nailed it. Like,
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Drift Masters is
But-
just going to be full of Velinos now. It's got to be in it, surely.
Volino Championship.
It's
Pass.
got,
Don't
like,
know.
you don't pay that.
Is
much
it a
attention.
control tyre?
No.
No idea. Genuinely don't know. I'll just watch it for what it is.
Is there a
Yeah.
control tyre?
No.
Well, anyway,
I
my
don't
point
think so.
Yeah,
was
carry on.
DMEC Drift Masters is a middle ground. You've got Formula D. I know the Earth isn't flat, despite what the world thinks.
D-Max middle ground
Drift Masters.
compared to
Middle, as in the middle of. So you got a Japanese driver coming to Drift
Europe.
Masters, and you've got us sending Dean that way. If you could continue, it'd be nice if Dean went all the way around and did Japan, so that he's got the, he's done Drift Masters.
I'd like to see him
He's done
drive
Formula
in-
D. Like if he did,
I think he'll do Drift Masters again this year.
do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he'll float in and out.
Or
Not a
is it-
full championship, but I think he'll float in
I know, but then what's the point?
I
just
don't
to
know.
please
I know, but it's,
sponsors.
I don't know if I would suspect he'll probably do Riga.
yeah.
Uh,
Although,
I would
didn't he get a
suspect-
massive
Although-
backlash from?
I don't know. Will he not? Surely he'll do
Actually, to
whatever.
be fair, if he's driving, I'm speculating hard here, but if he's driving in America now for RTR,
Mhm.
he's dropped Falcon.
I don't.
Oh,
know
yeah,
what-
I
I
guess
don't-
he has
yeah,
to have
I
done,
genuinely
doesn't
don't know.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't know.
I
Just
don't know what
like,
the lay of the land
yeah.
is, but then again, if Falcon is still his sponsor, which presumably it is with his 14
European,
European thing, maybe
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we've not seen the livery. For all we know, he may still get backing from Falcon in Formula D.
RTR.
Actually, to be fair,
Yeah,
the car
maybe.
is Falcon Green. It is. I've
Well, there
seen
you
it.
go.
Yeah,
So I don't know. We'll see. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, though, I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
that'd be
because-
wicked. Yeah,
I'll actually watch Formula D this year because last year didn't bother.
I didn't at all.
No, I
no.
didn't
Didn't bother.
either.
But this time.
Oh no, I told.
But I do
didn't-
think
did
think
watch-
James brings that to FD, that he's 3 times champion
Yeah.
on the bounce. They're all literally. I mean, we've all seen the memes of James is coming back.
Yeah.
and I think the drivers will genuinely be thinking, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
he's back.
Mm.
We're going to have to."
For sure,
up.
for
But
sure.
I'm hoping it will make them then up their level.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you've got Asbo, you've got Turk, and all the rest of them. I think they're going to be thinking, "We're going to have to go next level."
Yeah.
And I think it'll enhance FD more
Yeah.
than it has been. Because last
Yeah.
year for me it was like, don't care.
The thing is, nobody likes to be walked over, and the problem was some of the events that I watched from the last year where he won or seemingly walked it, didn't walk it, but do you know what I mean?
He did.
He did.
He did.
And that's the
I'm
thing.
sorry,
It's
but-
like as a US driver watching that happen, it must be
Soul destroying.
yeah.
Absolutely
And
soul
then, oh, he's
destroying.
coming back the following year. You could imagine thinking, oh, do you know what? I'll probably just have a bit of fun. I'll go. I don't know. What am I doing this for? Do you know what I mean? Like if it's the same outcome 3 times in a row, I personally, you'd have done your 3 on the bounce, and then I'd have gone to Japan. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why Dean's not gone to Japan.
It was COVID happened though, didn't it?
Well,
When,
no,
like,
that
the
was when he
hype
was doing
of the-
Russia. He was doing
Yeah, he was,
Russian
yeah.
But have you watched the? Have you watched the?
RDC? That can't be right.
But have you watched some of the D1 events? Do you watch
Oh
them?
yeah, the old old ones.
No, but about new ones.
I think the last
Have
one
you
I'd
watched
watched
the
was
new ones?
2019. I'd watched.
Not really.
That probably explains why. Then
Oh, is it really good?
it's.
The thing is, I tell you now, the last one I'd watched was in 2019, and it was on an extremely small track, and there were vehicles there that were about 1,200 brake horsepower. And I remember thinking, cool.
I don't know. I tried to watch some of them last year, and I was just like,
It's mad to me that they're on 20-inch wheels.
All of them. PS on 20-inch wheels.
Yeah, it's a mad. It's a mad thing to see.
Nakamura boy is on 22. Is it 21s or 20s?
20 something like that. He's on big
20s
tyres.
on
Yeah.
a PS.
Yeah.
Well, then-
Okay.
Okay, who's the biggest driver in Japan apart from Naki? Now, who is there?
Saito.
Well, I'm talking about get rid.
MCR guys.
Take off, yeah, but name them.
I can't name 'em.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how much interest there is in drifting. If you guys don't know the guys that
Yeah,
are
that's
drifting in
true.
Japan, then what's the world? The world's watching.
Oh yeah,
Fon-
for sure.
The world's watching DMAC because Dave's done the
I'm
best
watching
job.
Casey, to be fair.
Dave has just done such an incredible job with Drift Masters, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that he's just taken it to the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tip my hat off to him for what he's done because it's just wow.
Yeah,
You know.
I know. I'm not going to talk about BDC or any of the stuff that happened there, but the
You can't.
the
Doesn't exist.
no. But what I'll say, I feel like Dave's intention with the BDC when he bought it was to make it bigger and bigger. But I feel like in his head, the one core component that would always limit it was its name. That it was the British Drift Championship, so it could never be. You could never take the BDC to Dubai. You
No.
know, whereas that I think was where his aspirations were leading into, so it kind of had to be something like that. With same with IDC, it was like, oh, I've got drivers over here that I'm bringing over here. I've got drivers over here that I'm bringing over here. Bring them over here. Constantly bring. Why can't we just why can't we just go over there? Or go here, and of course the name sounds ridiculous, but the limiting factor in that is that you can't take the BDC, you can't take IDC to Dubai. You just can't. It doesn't work.
No.
Whereas Driftmasters, as its main core functioning component, is that it can just be anywhere, pretty much, and do what it
It
wants to
doesn't
be.
matter what Dave is involved in; it will work because he is
Yeah.
the biggest hype man that will ever be in this sport. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he's incredible. His commentary is just
yeah.
second to none.
Yeah.
You get him and Ian together, and it's
I know.
just like,
I feel
wow.
like Ian's is like I said this.
Ian's wild, yeah.
I said this ago. It's like it's short of somebody doing a mildly racist Japanese accent. It's the most hyped and also understandably hyped
like
I've heard people be. Do you know what I mean by that?
like Kale and
Yeah.
Motti used to do.
Yes, exactly like Kale and Motti used to do. It was like, oh, this is yeah, exactly,
Oh, no.
exactly,
Really not.
exactly. It's like this feels a little bit racist, guys. If you could just tone down the Japanese accents and make things slightly less racist, that would be great. It wasn't racist. I'm not going to say it was it racist.
No,
It's 2023.
it wasn't racist.
Everything's racist now.
Oh, you're breathing racist.
That's true. Yeah.
But no, like I say, I think Dave, like you said, I think he found the BDC was going to be a limiting factor. Plus, then obviously
Yeah.
he was busy working with getting DMEC up and running, and that was that. So
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
play.
yeah.
And well, I mean, look at where he's at now. It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, wild impressive.
Fair play that he stuck to like he still lives in Ireland as well. Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
living in Ireland, that's a struggle to do.
Yeah,
Like, actually, to be
and
fair,
and to be
no,
involved
actually, I'm
in-
going to
in
take that
cars.
back because Mondello is real keen for drifting.
It is, yeah.
like for as
yeah.
long as they can.
They've got like a history museum, not history museum. Oh my god, what's it called? I think a museum there, automotive museum.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And just like I don't know, I get it's not a vibe here to say the word vibe. But you get a very good positive
Yeah,
vibe
because
from
everyone-
Yeah, I hate that.
everyone goes on about
fucking hate that.
Ireland's only got one track. I was like, yeah, but that one track enjoys.
It's such a vibe.
Yeah, it enjoys what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's about it.
they've got Nuts Corner, but that's northern, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it gets all.
The thing,
Yeah.
the thing with Mondello is it's
Yeah,
literally like get off the ferry, Mondello.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh no, I didn't go.
yeah, no, you didn't go.
I didn't go.
Oh, have you been before? Have you
No,
been?
never.
Ever?
No.
Okay, it's good. It's nice. Like it there.
Mm.
But Dave Egan's the only person that's ever got me to a drift event to go watch as a spectator, ever. As
Really?
in,
Wow.
I went to watch.
Were you? Was it to go and maybe run the BDC
No, I went to watch,
in Ireland?
I went to watch Japfest. Don't ask me what year it was.
Oh yeah.
And it was just wow.
Watch how this is done here.
And then I missed the final because I had to catch a boat, which was a bit of a fail.
I missed an entire day at LZ Fest because I had to catch a boat. That was lame, wasn't it, Jono?
Yeah, it was a boat. Yeah, so I had to
I
miss the
missed a whole.
finals.
I missed a weekend.
It was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was. Oh, the reason it was late was because it was that year that engine blew up over at finish line, and everybody and it went oof, and there was a massive
An
delay.
engine
Yeah,
blew
who,
up on
that
the
was.
finish line.
There was a fire, wasn't there?
It wasn't
can't
Jack.
remember.
It was one of the
Thomas
young
Cayley.
lad. Yeah.
Thomas Kiley engines blew up.
Yeah.
And there was
Wow.
a massive delay. Yeah, literally right in front of Grandstand. I went,
Yeah,
poof.
boom.
It's like, oh shit, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Expensive. And everything was delayed, so finals were delayed, and then yeah, I missed it. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It's good. But yeah, honestly, he's the first person that's got me on a plane to go and watch a drift event ever.
Yeah.
Because I've not been to. I went to Japan, but I didn't go to watch any event. I went to drive, and then I've never been to the States to watch an FD. And when I went to
No, I've
Portugal,
never been to.
when I went to Portugal I was running events there, not.
Yeah,
That was way
you
back
weren't
when, weren't it?
Wasn't a spectator.
I don't know. There's a thing on my garage roof up there that tell. Oh, I
So-
we're unplugged.
What if you unplugged? Oh, you've unplugged your headphones. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just do
Oh,
it.
that's why you couldn't hear me. I don't know. There's a poster up there from Portugal. I think that was.
I remember that because
2011?
John Carney did photography
Might have
there
been-
with
John,
Al.
might have been 2011, 2010,
2011.
Madness.
Time is a
Long time.
motherfucker.
Big
Yeah,
motherfucker.
when you think that's over 10 years ago. Yeah, we used to go and run that KD event with Gustavo in Lusada, which was mental.
On budget
And,
time.
oh, you've never seen anything like it. The racetrack is behind a block of flats,
Oof.
right?
Imagine trying
And-
to do that in the UK.
And in your Portuguese time, right, is so delayed. Like, I'm like, right, driver's
Folk
briefing.
having a kip or what?
Oh, no, I'm like, driver's briefing's at 9, and they're just like, fuck it is, it's at 11. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's at 11, right? So you rock up at track, like an
What?
Honestly, this is how it worked for this event. So you'd rock up at the track at 9:30. They're all in a cafe drinking espressos, double
Right,
espressos. I'm
right.
thinking, fuck me, hardcore. Bear in mind, it puts hairs on your chest,
Yeah,
and you've got to swallow it 5 times to get it down.
that's what she said.
So they're all eating croissants and pastry and drinking really strong coffee for like 2 hours, just sat talking, and we're just sat there like, this is nice, not understanding a word they're saying, obviously, because they're talking Portuguese. And then at 11 o'clock, briefing will come round, and you'll go and sit down in briefing, and then about half an hour later, drivers will turn up. All right, because they don't seem to understand.
How long have you got the track for at this point?
Right. Well, this is I'm leading to this, right? So 11:30 briefing starts. So bearing in mind we're in Portugal, right? So
Yeah.
I'm telling the briefing, right? So I'm having to do it in steps because I'll say
And you got to wait for it to be
I'll do
translated.
5 minutes and then it's got to be translated. Then I'll do another 5 minutes. It's got to be translated.
Oh,
Then I go-
Jesus
Right,
Christ.
So by the time the track opens, it's usually about
Midnight.
It was about 11. It was about 11:30, like 12 o'clock. So they all go out.
Midday sun.
Midday sun.
Oh,
fucking
fuck
worst.
that.
And I'm just like,
No, fuck
so
that.
they're all out there practicing.
Hey, who's got AC in these cars, though?
So none of them.
Oh, fuck
Oh.
that to death.
Scrutineering.
Nah, fuck that.
Let me tell you about.
How many things have melted? Oh, people's windscreens melting out of the fucking cars. No.
Let me tell you about the 3-door Sierra that was there being used. for
Was it
drinking.
was it a 4-door?
It was a 3-door, cosy, but it was the 1.6,
Yeah.
the one without a wheel tail.
Yeah.
And we're doing scrutineering. Basically, we just tried to make it safe for the drivers. And we lifts up this boot, and there's his fuel tank in spare wheel well, and his overflow was like into the wheel well,
Oh, okay.
and all the grommets were still in the wheel well,
Oh god.
and he'd filled it to the brim.
Oh god.
And then we opened up the boot and just went, put your fag out. Because if you'd have lit a fag, the car would have gone up.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
the overflow had poured into the
Okay.
spare wheel well.
So we're saying scrutineering was
It was interesting.
Fast and loose.
It was interesting. Anyway, so then they do practice, and then right, let's do some qualifying. It's too early for that. Let's have another hour of practice. So you'd have another hour of practice. Then you'd end up start qualifying at like 4 o'clock. So that would take you through till about 6 o'clock.
right. Where are we? We're in Portugal, so we're quite far down. We're going to get a sunset
It's
that's.
warm.
I know it's warm, but what I'm saying is you're going to get a sunset that's not going to be particularly. Where are you? What time of the year? It doesn't really matter at that
Oh, it
point,
was
isn't
October. It was October.
it? So you're not getting a huge amount of. What were you saying? Like 6, 7, 8 o'clock? Are you losing light?
Yeah. Oh,
was
yeah.
were the lights there?
So
or-
then they put the lights on.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Now you committed to an all-nighter.
but qualifying starts at like 6 o'clock. All right, so qualifying starts at about 6 o'clock in the evening. Bearing in mind,
Jesus.
there's a block of flats there, and there's a racetrack there, right? And we're talking cars that are nowhere near the level of what we've got in the UK at this point in time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're talking S bodies with straight through
Yeah.
3-inch cans. We're talking BMWs with
Yeah,
4-inch straight through cans. We're talking anything.
What dreams are
R30.
made of?
What dreams are made of. And so qualifying starts
Straight
at
pipe
6.
VQs.
So qualifying takes about 2.5 hours, right? So you're thinking it's 8:30,
Yeah.
it's 9 o'clock, right? It must be bedtime.
You've packed up every single BDC event you've ever done at
do,
this
do,
point.
do. Let's have another hour's practice before the morning because they don't like getting up on a morning.
Christ.
So then at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, drivers are queuing up to go out for practice, and they did practice till about 10 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
So why can't we hold events here?
So 10
Because
10
people
o'clock at
are
night.
dickheads.
At this point, my stomach thinks my throat's cut because I've had no dinner. Because
Yeah,
their
yeah.
food is. What they did was different to what we're used to. I've never seen chicken soup with bones in it before, but that's kind of what it was. But 10 o'clock, and then of course you go to bed, and of course us being Brits, as soon as sun comes up, bing, wide awake.
Yeah.
Bear in mind you've been at a drift event since 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
But the atmosphere was. That was the next thing. On the next day when the finals were on, me and Sid and a guy from Belgium was judging. And the Portuguese guys are so passionate about motorsport. You remember in the 80s with Group B rallying when, unfortunately, those guys got killed by that RS200
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Portugal because the Portuguese are so passionate. But if they're into something, it's 125%. Me and Sid and this Belgian guy were judging. And this guy there called Isaac Pedrosa, and he was like the Don of drifting. He had an A86, with something underneath his bonnet. I think it was out of a Supra V6. There was a matchstick on his throttle controller because there was something wrong with it. No, that was it. It needed some sort of spring, and he couldn't find a spring that was small enough or soft enough. So what he used a fag butt, because when it got to full compression, it just went. And he used a fag butt because it was the right consistency on this throttle.
Fuck's sake.
But so you can imagine my head's thinking throttle, fag packet, blah, blah, blah. But this is how they roll. This is how they did it. So you had to work with their thing. So
what scrutineering levels are you working to at this point?
None. And their 5-minute rule was a half an hour.
we're just hoping they're not going to die, basically.
TUV.
So we're judging away, and Danny Isles was there with the Japspeed S15.
Oh yeah.
Against Isaac, as they called him, Isaac Producer in this Corolla. And right down at the bottom of the fair track, where nobody could see except the judges, because we're on a cherry picker, was Isaac made a mistake at the far end, and Danny didn't. Danny went through. Where are the crowd? They're this way. And they couldn't see.
Now you are a biased bastard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you how bad it was. The entrance to the track...
Start shaking the cherry picker.
Well, luckily, we're in the middle of the track. So imagine I'm on the cherry picker here, and I'm looking at the track here, and the track went behind us that way. So the crowd's behind. We're looking directly at the crowd. So the cars come down, disappear off down there. We can see him make a mistake. They then come down past in front of us. And at this point, they're door-to-door, both runs, and it looks amazing. And the crowd are going wild, and the girls are going, ooh, and all that. And of course, we had to give the decision to Danny.
Yeah. Bias.
You have never seen anything like it in your life. Bear in mind that this banking's huge, and there must be 3,000 people stood on this banking.
God.
Next thing we see, down this slip ramp where the guys come onto track, is 4 mechanics, and they've all got cracker bars, and they're all walking down this. They're all walking down here.
Like something out of a 1950s gangster movie.
Yeah.
10 seconds later,
You can hear the theme from Grease playing.
there's 4 coppers start running behind them with their guns drawn,
Oh, fucking hell.
running in
Wait,
front.
are the coppers after you or after them?
They're after stopping these guys from coming across to the cherry picker to stop them doing us.
Fucking hell.
So the coppers are then stopping these 4 guys coming to try and get
Jesus
us. So
Christ.
the coppers then get rid of these guys. And then we had to get down the cherry picker,
No.
obviously. And it's just
No.
like, no, this is not good.
No.
This is not good. So we then had to explain in a briefing the next day
How drifting works.
Yeah.
But you can't tell 3,000 Portuguese people that are on a banking supporting their Portuguese driver that he's just got knocked out
By an Englishman.
by an Englishman.
Who's being judged by...
Englishman.
Englishman.
And a Belgian. But but eventually, after another visit, we went back for another visit to help them with their championship, and we explained that the
It sounds like the
problem
track
was
was potentially needed to be maybe gathered nearer to
You
the
couldn't.
people.
You couldn't, because it was a rallycross track, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
set in place. It wasn't like Rockingham or
Yeah. That's why
I think-
Mondello works the way it does. You've got this surrounded by people, so nobody can say, "Oh, well, he didn't make a mistake there." Motherfucker, I can see him from every single point.
same as I'm trying to think where else was that.
Driftland's another one. You can
Driftland,
very rare
yeah.
to be able to not spot a mistake by a
T-side.
driver. T-side.
But again,
as
that's
well,
but it's back to teaching them about drifting, like we were doing at the. Well, we hadn't started Drift Cup then, but that was back to licensing days where you have to teach not only we basically had to teach the commentator what to
they're
say,
looking-
because the commentator is Portuguese. The commentator's thinking he's won. So of course, look at Isaac, yeah, Isaac, yeah, and the winner is Danny. And commentator's face was like,
Fallen.
what the fuck, you
Yeah.
know, and the 3,000 other, and then commentator passes that on to 3,000 Portuguese guys that are all supporting Isaac,
Yeah.
and we're like, oh fuck, we're gonna die,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
But that was all part of that. But again, it's all part of that experience of learning drifting to go forward to drift.
Well,
Cup,
with
BBC,
your
blah, blah,
wealth
blah.
of knowledge and your wealth of learning,
Can we have another? No,
why not? Just go there once
go
a
there
year.
once a year.
Go there once a
Enjoy it.
year.
And
That's
go,
it.
Go and enjoy it for what it is.
Go there once a year.
Yeah.
No more than once a year.
Phone your broadband service providers and make sure you've got the correct speed for getting a ticket,
Yeah.
because that is
But somebody It was the same on the Rockingham Drift Days. I knew somebody. I'm not-
Sweepsterriblewebsites.com.
Oh, fucking hell. That year. That year it crashed. Jeez.
Sweep's like, maybe I'll let it go
Oh, I remember,
1
yeah.
second before everyone. Nope, still.
Bad
Crashed.
idea. Well, yeah,
Were you aware that there were Facebook groups
Yes.
Oh
specifically
yeah,
designed,
they pissed me off.
Yes.
specifically
Yeah.
designed
There still is.
to
Yeah, there still is now. Yeah.
access?
I've been sent photographs like 10 minutes before tickets go on sale, and there will be a group of 10 lads in a room, all with an iPhone,
Oh no, there's
all looking at the screen.
not even that. There's massive group chats where they all say, "I've got X amount of tickets in my basket. Who needs one?" And they'll just
Yeah.
hold it for
I know.
random people.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it happens, but there's nothing I can do about
It's
that.
ticket touting.
There's nothing I can do about that. But that's why we
No,
say...
I know. There
that's-
literally isn't.
But that's why we say you name the driver within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they are non-transferable, and you can't sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we need them named drivers. And this year there's a special reason that they're going to need to name the driver before we will allocate them with the
Is it for
ticket.
fun?
No, no.
My,
Fuckery.
There is a specific reason this year because it is the 10th anniversary
Oh yeah.
of the Drift Mat Series this
So
year.
what's the special
Hence the
reason?
10th anniversary hoodie available.
Limited
soon.
edition available.
Limited
Available
edition.
soon. Shall I turn around and do that? as well?
Look at that! Wow.
One of 69.
And a
Damn, bitch.
damn. Yeah, well, but no, there is a reason. I'm actually doing something different for the 10th anniversary Matsuri this year for the drivers.
We're banning terrible BMWs. Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm on board. Look at your
Uh,
face.
But no, I mean that's 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean that
It's
was
wild that that's 10 years.
But the first one was one day with like I don't know 30, 40 cars, and
Yeah.
look where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's
400 cars.
400 cars, and I let all my don't forget. I let
400 cars,
I s- don't
300
forget-
red flags.
I don't forget. I sell all my mates tickets first though.
That's true, yeah. Let's
do,
all,
yeah.
all,
You heard it here first.
all 400 of Sweep's friends get tickets.
Yeah.
If you believe that, you're a bigger mug than he looks.
That's enormous. But yeah.
but
No. What's the special thing?
Then it's the 10-year
No,
anniversary,
he just said he's
Daniel.
doing something special.
yeah, for every single individual driver that comes to the event,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
what is it?
I'm not telling you.
He's
What
gonna,
do you mean?
But
He's gonna gobble the cock.
I just need to know their names for a
He
specific
just needs
reason.
to know their names. That's it. That's the special thing.
Yeah. He's gonna shake your hand and write your name
He's put
in the
his.
sky.
That's what it is. He's
Yeah.
put his microphone down.
I'm gonna get an aeroplane and we're gonna do a big love art.
Yeah, no, the wind at Anglesey is not allowing any
Yeah,
aeroplanes.
you get an
I'm-
aeroplane to go. It'll just be like a massive of contrails, just
Yeah.
nothing.
No, what I'm going to do is all the entrants for the golden ticket. I'm going to cut all the pieces of paper up. Right, I'm going to put in an aeroplane. I'm going to ticket it at the venue
You can take the venue with loads of golden tickets
Oh,
that
the
nobody
golden
won.
ticket.
that nobody won.
Golden tickets that all went to your mates.
I still remember
Of course, obviously.
Jesus
I can't
Christ.
remember.
that meme I made of Sweeps many moons ago as Willy Wonka is still.
Oh yeah, with
yeah.
the ticket.
You'll get nothing. You lose.
Can we just pause for a second? The ideal.
We're back on. We're back. We've
Sorry.
It's pisscast.
Toilet time cast.
Toilet time cast, and we were just discussing
Toilets.
how the most successful videos, reels on Instagram, on our Instagram, are of cats. Hey,
Just put
kitty.
cats in.
And look, here we are joined by Mark's cat,
Colin.
Colin.
There we go.
Jesus, Colin, you're getting wrapped up here,
Good.
bro.
There we go.
Oh, we're up,
yeah.
bro.
What
Hey,
a
yeah.
Good killie.
Colin
Colin the killie.
the cat.
Where we up to? What we
Got anything to say, Colin? No,
No.
just
no,
purring.
nothing. Just purrs.
We'll get him a microphone in a minute. No, where were we up to?
Portugal.
We're just discussing Portugal, drifting, and things that Sweep's done. Should have gone back and watched the bit that we were up to.
There you go.
But now
Well,
now
no,
it's
we were
now it's
just saying.
Catcast.
Well, we were just saying about the fact that what we learned in Portugal,
Oh yeah,
we transferred to the UK. As in,
Yeah.
like you said, the commentator's responsibility was to tell the crowd what was happening, not.
yeah.
But like you said, you've got 3,000 people that are listening to a Portuguese commentator, and they're going to agree with everything.
It's a judged motorsport, right? And I know that sounds really obvious, but no other motorsport is judged, and
No.
you're reliant on the. So here's the thing: a lot it gets compared to figure skating and other judged sports.
Yep.
Now you think of commentating in that sort of arena, and it isn't a man wildly shouting. It's like very specific. Oh, this is good. This is the point's going to be added here. Point's going to be deducted here. Point's
It's
going.
elegant.
It's well. My point is the commentary is very often very
Biased.
no. In those things like figure skating, it's very specifically
Yes.
descriptive of the specific points that are requested and asked for by the judges, so that the person watching the commentator are going to have a good idea of how they're actually going to do when it comes to the judging. Whereas in drifting, it's very much like, oh my fucking god, did you see that drift? It was sick. He is on his door. We're like, yeah, I know he's on his door. We can see. But what are the judges looking for? And that has been lacking in commentary for quite a while. And it does quite regularly because it's difficult. It's very hard. It happens very, very quickly. You have to say, "Oh, these come out of here today. He's doing this, and this is a good thing." And it's very hard. There's a lot of laymen, a lot of people who aren't specifically into drifting who would be watching something like that, who are going, "I'm reliant on you to tell me what the fuck is actually happening." Because although I'm sat here enjoying this spectacle, I don't actually know enough about the key points to what's being asked for.
I do think that is.
And that's where it falls down sometimes.
That is. I think that is a massive part of when people say to me, even now, what's drifting? I do what you said, and I refer to it's judged like you said. I always refer it to ice skating or whatever. But I do think that's where commentators like Dave and Ian do. If you watch Drift Masters from the beginning, they explain the criteria perfectly in black and white. But the problem is, I think the majority of people will start watching it and then they'll WhatsApp their mates or whatever and say, "Fucking hell, have you seen that on whatever?"
Yeah.
And then they'll start watching it, but then they haven't got a clue what they're watching.
No, that's precisely it. No one's ever coming in the beginning. That's the problem.
But I mean, I commentated for donkey's years for BDC and Drift Cup, but then I learned that you have to repeat yourself as a commentator over and over and over and again, because don't forget the judges want to see X, Y, Z. The judges want to see this. The judges want to see that. And I think, but Ian and Dave, I think they do that. They explain to people what's expected and what is a clipping zone and what is. Don't forget.
It is hard. I've done it myself.
So hard.
Yeah, I've done it myself, and you feel like you sit there and you go, hang on, I know I've got my mates watching this who will listen to me explaining it as if I'm explaining it to 3-year-olds, but I've also got to explain it to people who are into drifting, who are also into drifting and know exactly what they're looking for and are going to listen to me and think, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to please all the people at the same time.
Yeah,
And that's why being a commentator is not something I'm good at and not something I would like to try and do in the future. And I do have a deep respect for it. But it's as we were saying before about Ian and Dave. I don't know. I don't know how they've done it, but it's very watchable, isn't it?
But it's easier than judging. Trust me.
Yeah, I bet.
That to me that is
the judging thing now
worst
looks.
ever.
It looks almost mechanical in the way that it's now like they give specific points for specific zones, and so was that in Drift Masters that I last saw?
Yeah, each judge has a different element of the run that they have to watch.
They specifically put them in as they're seeing them.
It seems to work with Drift Masters because it's very rare.
We've lost something.
It's very rare that you.
Oh no, we're back again. Yeah.
It's rare that you see, in my opinion, a bad call at Drift Masters. It's very rare because I think they've got that format nailed when it comes to judging.
Yeah.
Whereas it is very. But then again, drivers and people watching used to say, "Well, what if I'm out first? I'm not going to get judged the same." But then you'd have to explain to the people that when I judged an event, I would watch practice and I would look for the best driver of that event. So, for example, say it was Phil Morrison from Driftworks, and I watch Phil and think, "Fuck me, look at that! That is a 98-point run." I would judge everybody else on what I've seen in practice.
Even
from that very first run.
Yeah.
that goes out onto track. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be, I don't know, it could be Kevin Quinn, it could be Adam LZ, whatever.
You're trying to think of something really bad. You can say me.
No, but you're going to judge that driver who comes out first on that grid
Yeah, yeah.
the same as the guy that comes at the end. I know they run it in championship reverse order, don't they, as go through, but you've got to judge that first driver as the same as you do as the championship leader.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like FD, you've got, I don't know, I'd say Castro runs first. You've got to judge him exactly. Is he squirting? Little shit. Sorry.
Has he just pissed in your
I think he
garage?
just pissed in my garage. I get a slap.
Kitty.
Kitty.
No pissing
Um,
in the garage.
He'll be out in it.
This is a no piss garage.
And that is so hard as well. But that needs to that those minor details like that need to be explained to the drivers and to the public and to those watching.
Now
and
then, if you
Yeah,
go
it
and
goes
do figure skating in the UK, or you go to somewhere in Europe, you go to Japan, you go to that hurts, or you go to the US, there is consistency in the judging and what people are looking for specifically.
Formula D.
No, in figure skating.
Figure skating. Yeah.
There is a governing body who ensure that the judging is consistent no matter where you go in the world. There is a specific criteria that is looked for no matter where you go in the world. Now, do you remember Driftbox?
Yeah.
And the way that worked, it would try and figure out your angle and all the rest of it. And I remember
Yogi has one of them.
Yeah, I remember thinking. I don't know.
Stavros has got one, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Stav always goes on about them, doesn't he?
It's good, but there are also what's it called? It's not spurious. It manages to create incorrect data in peculiar ways, and it wasn't it in itself, despite being trying to be something that creates consistency in judging, in itself was inconsistent, which is why it was dropped from. I think the last time I saw it was. Do you remember the game Grid?
Yeah.
That was in D1, and that was the last time it was used, and it was dropped after that.
I've never seen one. I've never used one.
Never
seen
used one.
No,
Never
point.
seen one. Never
Fuck 'em.
used one.
I've
No.
seen one. I've no idea how to use it, but the purpose of it was to create
yeah,
consistency in judging.
Yeah, I knew what they
across
did
the
and
board.
all the
And
rest
I
of it,
think
but-
there is an element of something like that is probably it's about time there was something like that.
No, just get rid
Right,
of
well-
competition.
Well, yeah, there is. Well, all right then. Well, I will ask you about what they do at Goodwood Festival of Speed with the proximity sensors. Then, what about
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me
But
that?
but it's not just that. It's like that's great. I want to see that, but I want to see. I want a driver who is good in the UK be able to go under the same judging criteria in the US, go to Japan and receive the same judging, just like in another seriously in another sport that's taken as seriously, in my opinion, in figure skating. Now, I have no interest in figure skating.
Sounds like you do.
Sounds
I
like
know,
it
It
does, doesn't
sounds
it?
like you like figure skating.
It really does.
You watch Dancing on Ice,
I
don't
know.
you?
Yeah, I've never watched Dancing on Ice.
He fucking has. He records
fucking
it.
has. Seriously.
100%.
But you see, this is the problem. It's
On
like
demand.
it's a judged sport, and it's very hard to
Are you a figure skating judge?
try and take. Yes, I am.
You were
It's-
Torval and Dean fan.
It's do you remember Torval and Dean? They were married, weren't they? They were a married couple. That's the end of my knowledge when it comes to figure skating.
You're just lying now.
My point
Full of
is,
shit.
I think
Yeah, I know, yeah.
when you're watching competitive drifting, that lack of consistency in judging, and I don't mean in one event where you see a judge maybe taking a bad call here or a bad call there, or like in what happened in Russia. Do you remember where there was some awkwardness happened with one of Dean's runs? I can't
Always,
remember.
yeah.
Somebody didn't finish, and then they got
They still
got
won.
put through, and you're
Yeah.
like, not that sort of inconsistency. Something that would be in place to help, or at least
But that's where if FIA ever got their hands on it,
Yeah.
like potentially they have with that FIA Cup thing, whatever it is, then it might happen. But
what's that? Is that that's the pro drift, isn't it? No,
This is what I
no,
mean.
it's
Just get rid of
complete-
competition
it's-
drifting.
It's
just get rid of it.
the FIA thing is a one-off, once-a-year event in it that's held once. It's like
they do it at
it's-
Nürburgring, don't
It's
they?
like Race of Champions, isn't
Yeah.
it? They do that once a year because Martin went, didn't he? Richards.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did, yeah.
yeah.
He went and had a go, and because there's a guy from Portugal I know, he was involved with it and he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it. But I mean, let's not. I mean,
You can if you like. You're just holding yourself back here.
I am holding myself back because I think as soon
There's
as
only
you,
5 people listening, mate. Don't
as
worry.
soon as you get as soon as you get a governing body that's high up like that, it changes the
Oh, of course it
level.
does, yeah.
But then
Well, a lot
if
of people get scared, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
no, but
can
the biggest-
No, it makes it shit.
for me, the biggest problem there is as soon as you get a body like that involved, the price just gets rid of it gets rid of 75% of drivers that do it for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got to have FIA seats, you've got to have FIA on it, but
In date.
they've got to be in date. That's the problem. And then when a seat's fucking £600, and then you've got a pair of harnesses, it's another
Cage rules are always changing.
cage
Yeah.
rules.
Right,
cages.
rightfully so, though. Half the time I saw. Did you see
The
that?
blue book for
I mean-
FIA is insane.
Well,
Yeah.
and every car would have to be built to that
Yeah.
set part in drifting. If that happened, drifting's gone.
This brings back to when car being I was on about earlier. Car being a certain year in Drift Pro needs a cat converter.
Yeah.
Need a cat in it. So it'd be the same then.
Who is it that had to put a cat in?
You say it was Adam Simmons.
Adam Simmons put one in his
That's
Z3.
put
Yeah.
a-
Or is it
find
Z4,
it.
sorry, is
I
it
find it
Z4, yeah.
absolutely utterly mind blowing that in what year was that? Was that last year?
No, year before,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
before.
2021.
Yeah.
No idea.
A drift car had a catalytic converter welded into it
Yeah.
to compete.
I'm not saying he didn't smash the centre of it out and it didn't actually do anything, but he had to put it. I mean, I'd do that. 100%.
Yeah, IRL for MOTs.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's a fucking race car.
I know, but do you remember
So-
seeing those rallycross cars? And they decided that the best that they'd done maths and science. And,
Oh, they're not true motorsport people
and
then.
I know, and then they'd put the cat at the very tip of the exhaust.
Yeah.
One, to prove they had one, and two, because they glowed red.
Yeah.
And they looked sick. But it was a level playing field. The thing is, you said into your head, you think, okay, so you've got restrictors on the turbos, you've got everyone running the same, blah 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 blah, and you can see the people who are working and using a catalytic converter,
Yeah.
and you can probably tick your 9001 ISO bullshit for your championship to say, yeah, I'm doing my bit for the environment. Yeah, it makes sense in that case, but like it's kind of lame at the same time.
Just
isn't
fit it with a battery like they have now.
Fit it with a battery.
Well, new rallycross cars, they're all hybrids, aren't they?
Oh fuck.
No, I don't
You
watch
don't
it.
see that?
No.
Rallycross, they're electric, I think.
Oh,
Or
right.
if not, they're fully electric.
Right.
They're going that way.
Oh, right. They chemically castrated the people.
Chemically castrated.
I see. We're back to that then.
Christ.
Yeah, I think they're more or less electric, aren't they? I think.
Oh.
Have you not seen?
Well, there's the thing. I've
you don't
taken
watch
such
rallycross.
little interest in it that in my not taking any interest, it all went electric.
Yeah.
I know I don't know if it's 100% electric, but I know that they were going that way with manufacturers like VW going into it with polos that were electric.
Link
and-
the batteries
And
together.
Yeah.
Link together.
And let's face it, hydrogen's going to come in and just go, oh, fuck you, batteries.
I wish it would.
Yeah.
It's like
That'd be
Clarkson-
great. A load
that-
of bombs on the
that-
track.
But everybody must have seen that Clarkson video where he says about Priuses, and he says, "I don't see the point. It's just a PR exercise that they will mine nickel in Japan. I think it was Japan or somewhere, and they'll ship it to Japan. Japan make batteries. That then gets shipped somewhere else to be made into something else, and then you
Yeah.
ship back to Japan, put in a Prius, and then ship.
Well,
back to
Nissan-
thing, and it's like,
Yeah, you've not really saved. You've done the
Nissan-
opposite of saving the earth.
yeah,
I think it's Nissan. The new it might be the new Qashqai, is an electric vehicle, but it's got a petrol engine in it, but the petrol engine doesn't drive the wheels.
No, it drives a generator.
Yeah, it's literally there to drive the jet.
Like,
So
an
yeah,
alternator.
an alternator. That is all it does.
Wow.
That's all they do. Yeah.
It's fucking
But then-
weird.
That's it.
But then when I went to Japan, there was a Toyota in their museum that was hydrogen powered, and they've just built an A86 with a hydrogen motor in it.
Oh, I've seen the
Have you seen
hydrogen
that?
86. I don't hate
water.
that. I don't hate that at all. And
But-
there's a 4AG in there, and it's only.
No, but the problem is,
Is it not a
I
4AG
think-
in there?
No, it's just a limited electric. It's all
No,
hydrogen.
no. There's a
Oh, it's
hydrogen. It's a hydrogen powered
4H.
4AG. Yeah.
I could stick a turbo on it. But I think the problem with hydrogen, they're splitting atoms, aren't they? And
I
they're-
don't
they're-
fucking know.
And I think,
Very bomby, isn't it?
and I think they're very nervous about the fact that you might see one of these explosions like you see in garages when people are filling it with LPG. and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
no.
bomby. Yeah.
It was-
The
no,
whole
the-
car goes, poof.
The concern was, and apparently it's not a concern, but the concern was the storage of hydrogen has to be at a very, very high level. It's 590 bar. That's the compressor.
Oh, what they have.
So
But just
now- so
imagine
now-
people getting their hydrogen cars and buying the eBay parts. Oh my god.
Well, precisely that. But not just that. Now imagine you've got to have... Karen needs to be able to take 11 kids to wherever, and she needs to drive head-on into a post because she's doing a makeup in there. I'm making very, very misogynistic comments here, which is unfair. But the
Just not
point
carry
is...
on.
The point is, somebody needs to be able to crash this safely, and having nigh on 600 bar contained
Gas. Yeah.
gas in a very volatile gas at that sort of pressure in a car would leave a small crater, which would take out probably a size
Well,
of
just
a
don't crash,
house.
Alex. God.
I know, that's the point. But it's like if you need to be able to crash test these
Put it
vehicles.
in a roll cage. Done.
Or put the
Everyone has to just drive. Everyone has to drive a fucking a Prius with a roll cage.
Yeah.
Christ.
Just for the
No.
just for the gas
No.
tank.
You need people to be able to crash these cars as arbitrarily as they do, and you can't do that with. But like I said, apparently there's been things put in place, like the HRV or whatever it's called, the Hyundai HRV. They basically built the car around so that the engine and everything else was pretty much just cheap shit, and that the car is essentially this storage device for this really volatile. So that the car itself, the manufacturing costs were like £100,000. They were selling them at £60,000. No one was fucking buying them. But they'd had to do it that way so that they could make a safe container for.
it's a wildness.
Yeah, but the good thing is you can run an engine. You can run a combustion engine using hydrogen.
Just put SRs and everything. It'll be fine. Well, it won't be. They've
No,
got
no, well,
they're
no,
pretty shit.
they're not fine in a stock form.
SRs, even like I've checked on rebuild costs on the Nissan SR20 now is fucking ridiculous. Like, have you seen the price they're going for second hand?
No, it gives me.
Don't even look.
It makes my hands shake
Yeah.
uncontrollably.
You try and find a 4A GZE.
Nope.
Mm.
Nope.
I've seen.
But ringing Toyota doesn't
I
even
mean, have
find
you
you
seen?
No, you have to buy 11.
Do you
that.
follow?
You have to buy 1111s.
A complete 11.
Do you follow Mark Brown at all on Facebook?
I do follow Matt Brown on Facebook.
He's
yes,
built that
with
wild
his
K20. I mean,
K24,
the
yeah.
car's terrible because he's put a Rocket Bunny kit on it. But we can't blame him for bad taste. But the engine, whoo, boy, that engine's good.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Martin, Dan Martin's.
Dan Martin's done one. Yeah, I don't think he's
He's not
done
gone-
it. He
he's
hasn't got
not gone as
he hasn't
far
done
as-
that budget, but
No,
he's
he's
done
not gone
one.
as far as
Yeah.
In that K70.
Mark,
Is it K70?
70, yeah. Estate thing.
It's Paz's old one, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the
It's
MX-5
got it's got
one,
MX-5 stuff in it.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, because that's the same as what James has done in the Hilux, in it, at Driftworks.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
Green
just,
one.
You just drop on you just drop whatever car
The
you
one
feel
he
like.
refused.
Drop
James,
it on a.
the one James
MX-5.
refused to drive now. That one.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I don't know how public knowledge this is. He done Drift Matsuri in it, and he done
I seen that. Yeah.
like went back when, and he had like period correct bucket seats in it, which didn't support him whatsoever. And doing Matsuri and trying to hold himself upright, he gave himself a hemorrhoid
Really?
driving that car.
Shit.
I'm sure he's.
No,
really,
not a hemorrhoid.
not a hemorrhoid. You're gonna say.
A thingy.
Hernia.
Hernia, not
not-
hemorrhoid.
Well, I know. I was led to believe that was the last time that car was used.
Yeah, yeah,
That
he gave
Mats-
himself
that-
a hernia.
That
Yeah.
Matsuri.
I was going to say, you probably wouldn't want you mentioning he gave himself a hemorrhoid
Hemorrhoid, yeah.
on a podcast. Imagine the seat being that uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, James. Blame him.
Yeah, my fault. You don't listen.
No,
Oh,
But I'm pretty
Jesus.
sure that is.
no one will
Yeah,
watch it.
because that car's cool. Well,
Yeah, it
it's mega.
looks great. It
It
does
is
look
mega.
great, and it seems to have a lot of fun in it. But
The
again,
build was mega.
period correct bucket seats. Are they those?
It was like a
soft-sided
really
ones?
shallow kind of
Yeah.
like next to nothing.
Be like that
Have you
one
got
as
some
well.
up there? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
there.
terrible. Didn't support anything.
Yeah.
Not the brown thing, the black one.
But yeah, going
yeah,
back
yeah.
onto, I mean, Mark spent a ton of money, but that's a tartan sleeved, all singing, all dancing K24. That is, that's going to do like, it's going to go over 900 horsepower easy.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Is that going to be that
Yeah,
strong
yeah.
figures? Really? Wow.
Yeah, he's running a G35 1050 turbo on it, big fucking turbo.
Mine's off a Saab. I don't know.
And then using nitrous until it comes on song.
I don't know.
Big turbo.
No, I don't do turbo.
But yeah,
Some
it's
figures
like
and-
8 injectors,
right,
like
okay.
fucking massive.
8
fuel system.
injectors.
Yeah.
8
This
injectors.
thing, it'll do over 900 horse, easy,
Wow.
Why?
to make power.
Why?
Because you can.
I mean, what are we?
I'm glad
what,
he's
what
done
are we
that
doing
because
this year,
he's-
Daniel? What are you doing this year, Daniel?
What events are you guys doing?
No,
this
no.
year?
Just,
I'm
just
interested to
so
know. Sorry.
I would like I would like less power. How do you feel about that, Daniel?
Your ECU's locked, and I'm not turning it down.
Okay. Didn't we talk about potentially collectively
Turning power down.
turning the power
Yeah,
down?
and then I watched Wolf of Wall Street again, and the part where he goes, "You know what? I'm not fucking leaving." I felt like that was
I'm not
my power.
fucking. I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah.
Right, but here's the other thing: the price of gearboxes, drive shaft.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Two Skyline GTST 5x1 drive shafts. Not even the good long ones from the 4-door R34 GTSTs.
Yeah, just no.
£580
And you message
delivered.
the seller and tell them to stop being weird paedophiles and be fucking normal about it.
Be totally normal.
Yeah,
paedophiles
just stop being.
instead.
Yeah,
No,
stop being
Daniel,
fucking,
it's 2023.
It doesn't matter. I don't care about the
these,
year.
These people
Yeah, so
are dictating the price of
their
things.
shit is older now and less good.
Great. But the point is, we can't get away from the fact that these cars are...
I will pee on their door handles.
I don't see how that's solving any fucking
It
problems.
might.
The point is, gearboxes now. Even the bloke that I got that cheap 250 quid Z33 box off. Yeah, even he knows what they're worth now.
No, you just buy sequential now. That's what people say. You just buy sequential.
Just buy sequential.
Yeah. You just
No.
buy them.
No.
Just straight up 10 grand, no bother.
No.
And a Winters apparently.
You're only buying a gearbox once if you do that.
You're not though,
You know
are
what?
you?
The rebuild costs on them are still expensive. Dog rings and shit.
Yeah.
Look, and then Daniel was like, I'm going to buy the best gearbox Nissan's ever built in the world, a Nismo Z34
No,
gearbox.
it came out of a Nismo car.
Exploded.
It didn't explode.
All right, is worthless.
It's not worthless.
Anyway.
The synchros need changing.
Anyway,
The
boys,
synchros
boys.
need
I'm
changing.
sorry, Treacle. What's up?
Where are we going to see you 2/3 drive this year? Turning it around on you guys while we're at it.
Well,
Since nobody else seems to do
I
it on
think-
your podcast.
I think the only thing that we can confirm, because there's a few things that we're going to, but we can't yet confirm them. But the
I'm
only one that we
excited.
can confirm we're doing is Dory Fest.
I'll confirm that I'm excited, so I'm going to do Japfest. I
Ooh,
want to
yeah,
drive
yeah,
my
yeah.
car again.
Woohoo! Silverstone.
When
April 23rd.
April 23rd,
Silverstone.
Silverstone.
Tyre Street's Drift Kings.
They're going to give me some... I'm not going to win. I'll be a drift queen.
You're
Oh,
Drift
where-
Queen.
Yeah.
Tyre
With
Street's
2023, you can't, you can't be... I don't know where I'm going with this.
You can't be a queen.
You can't be a king.
Babe, you
Or
can
queen.
be a queen if you want. It's 2023.
I'm
we
going-
we can
no.
do what we want.
Tyre
actually-
Street drift thems,
I
please.
actually brought that up in a conversation and said we really shouldn't call it Kings.
Yeah.
We should call it Drift something because there's
There's quite a few female drivers.
yeah. Well, Amy's doing it, so
Yeah. Ames.
she can't be
She'd
a
be
king.
like, no, well...
I don't know. She
would
drives
be-
better than a lot of dudes, so I think she can.
well, there is that.
Yeah, but then
And she
this
tells
is-
Marcus what to do, so I think she's a king.
Yeah, and let's face it, anyone can be whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
At this point, you know, if you want to be a king, who are you to deny a female to be a king?
So yeah, I'll do Japfest. There's Dory first.
Just turn it around like that. That's
There
how it
is.
works.
What's the other one?
So
At
there's
Silverstone? What you got at
Ford
Silverstone?
Fair.
You got Ford Fair and a Nissan, yeah?
Ford Fair in August.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obviously, there aren't enough Ford drift cars.
There's not
There's
enough-
just one
there's
Ford
not enough-
Escort van that we care about.
There's a Mark 1 Escort Estate. Rusty Sliders. Rusties.
Oh, there is
Tom.
him, yeah.
Who's the other one?
I wish that guy with the Sierra would do some drifting. What's that guy? Red Sierra guy.
I don't know.
His
who
cars,
it is.
I've seen him twice now. Once at tracks and once at
what about the P100 that came to the Matsuri?
Oh yeah, there's that broke straight away though, didn't it?
did
it?
do a break.
Yeah, did a break.
I
Yeah.
think it was always going to do a break.
There's a blue Mark too as well. I think Triggs on
Who's
about bringing
that?
his Capri.
Who the fuck was that guy from Driftworks forum back in the day in a yellow Escort who had an SR in it?
Cobb. Ed.
Cause
Ed
Ed, because he used to do pace round fucking
He
Silverstone.
did. What was
Big
in that? What was
pace.
in that? Was it a
SR?
YB? Was it a YB?
No, an SR.
Was it an SR?
Yeah, he had an SR in it, didn't
Did
he?
he?
Yeah, I'm sure he had that yellow Escort had an SR in it. I'm sure
I
it did.
don't know.
Yeah, he was a good driver. Yeah,
Mm.
almost exactly the same age as me, to like the nearly to the day.
Interesting fact.
No, yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, yeah.
Really, really
Jesus Christ.
Thanks for that.
I know. Yeah.
appreciate it.
Anyway, have we got anything else we're doing that we can talk about, Daniel?
Matt Sorry, I guess, because there's 10 years.
10 years since Messi. Okay, and
Let's see
then
if we can get tickets in 4.2 seconds.
4.20 seconds.
Yeah.
Blaze it.
And then
0.69.
yeah. And then if we get tickets, we'll be told instantly that we only got them because we're mates with Sweeps and we've done this podcast once.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened, and people complain.
Standard.
But deal with it. Fuck you guys. Should have been faster.
Yeah, something to take from our podcast today. Fuck you guys.
It's not my.
thanks
It's
for
not
listening.
my fault that they didn't get tickets. It's not. It's not Mark's fault they didn't get tickets. The only person they've got to blame is themselves for
And
not being fast enough.
And their internet service providers.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going back to. There was somebody that used to come to Rockingham Drift Days, and he always got a ticket.
Tom.
Every single time he got a ticket.
Tom,
No,
the cop.
no. And I still to this day, and he said, if you do such and such and such and such and such and such, immediately on the time you go click and I'll get a ticket every time. And you know what? He got a ticket every single time.
What was his name?
I am not telling you.
Lad from Insurgent.
Oh yeah, no. Shh. We know who done that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Worked out a way of cheating the
Yeah,
system.
That's
Change-
just
Cheating the system.
Changed the time on the website,
That was it. Yeah, he
But-
managed
but-
to change the time on the website.
so we all got
Ye-
tickets 10 minutes earlier than they were meant to come out.
Yeah, he'd managed to work out a way of yeah.
Who's this?
Don't worry about that.
I won't mention
Don't
it.
worry about
Don't
that.
mention it.
Off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll mention it off camera.
Yeah. But it did
Change
happen.
the-
Yeah.
Change the time on the website so we could get himself a ticket.
Yeah, it happened.
For what? For what event?
Spring Match Story,
Hack
I
the
think.
website. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
What? He hacked my website to change
Just-
the
just-
date.
Yeah,
change the
we
time.
changed the time on the website to
Get
get
the-
tickets
get
5
the-
minutes earlier.
Get the fuck out of here! You did not change the ticket. on
We
that
didn't,
website.
but he
100%.
did. And it wasn't for us or anyone. It was for him.
Yeah. He just got a ticket.
It was.
But
It
it's-
was. I'm not losing the ticket. I'm not getting a
Okay.
ticket again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a clever lad then.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Fair
he is
play.
very, very,
I always
very
say it was
clever.
something like that. Fair play. Anyway, where are we up to? How many thousands of hours have we?
Hackings and people.
How many hours are we on, Jono? Should we? All right, let's call it a fucking day.
Yeah, okay.
So this has been the Low Origin podcast number 31, and this has been really good fun. I think we've covered absolutely everything we possibly could.
We've covered everything and nothing at the same time, haven't we? Really?
We've talked about everything, especially the thing that we definitely don't want to talk about.
But we'll see you at Japfest,
But we'll see you at Japfest,
and we'll have a lovely time.
and we'll have a lovely time.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Fuck.